calling for Hannah. Eventually, they went into the house and gave an explanation for Hannah's behavior.
Sara never spoke. Jennifer did all the talking, and she said that, Hannah struggles, she has some issues, it's been a rough week, and she's going through all.
Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we are going to be discussing the Broken Harts documentary. I don't know if you guys already watched it, but it's on Discovery Plus. It's pertaining to a gay couple by the name of Jen and Sara that, decided to adopt 6 children, children of color, by the way. They didn't want to adopt any Caucasian children like the same color as them, so they chose the colored children to adopt. So I'm basically just going to let you guys know how that all played out. If you guys don't already know, they were in Washington. They had 6 kids living with them, and I don't know if they knew how much of a responsibility that would be for handling 6 children. With white people, they just kind of go with the spur of the moment and we'll just wing it. And for them, it became a detrimental moment to where they had to commit suicide because it was just too much. So whether it was a financial strain or they were just really racist people deep down inside and they couldn't stand their Black adopted kids, we will never know, because they committed suicide and took all the Hart children with them. So it's really sad to see that. I'm going to insert some clips, if not already. You guys should have seen just how these evil toxic Karens address these poor little children, calling them drug babies, having a hard time learning, what do they know? And the honest part about it is that, guys, when children talk or when children say things, it's coming from a realistic place. Even though it may seem a little absurd because children are children, how would they know years and knowledge of life if they're just a child? So one would think that. But where it becomes reality versus false is if this is coming from a child that doesn't have a need to lie, there's nothing, or they're coming up with excessive, really big, extreme claims on an individual, such as, she touched me in my private area, or, she beat me and called and said she's racist, or she, something like that. These are hard things to make up. So I think society just kind of overlooked it and said, oh, she's a white woman. She knows how to handle this if she signed up for it, technically. And the reality of the case is that, no, she didn't know how to handle it. She had needed her psychotic break. Every time she wanted to take her anger out on someone, it would be those poor little children that she adopted. She would beat the little girl, to the point where the child had to, go to school beating, and teacher recognized it, and involving CPS and all of that. So let's just get into the whole, because it's a lot to digest. Let's get into the whole realm of who are white people, and how do they act, So if we are just coming from a realistic point of view, like from the outside looking inside, white people are really, really good actors and actresses. I said that in a previous video. They will put on the biggest front and sell it to you, But if you don't have an idea of how to discern this and really look between the lines, then it's going to be detrimental for you, because they can lie on you. They can manipulate you. Manipulation is their thing, because they know how to come across, in a sense. So it's very, very, very sad that little children, minors that didn't deserve this, have to go through this crap and take on the wrath and the crap of a Karen, So I don't know what the overall goal was for them to only adopt Black people. They didn't do this to any white children. So it has to be they wanted an outlet. They wanted someone that's their punching bag. And like most white people, they'll act and come across as we're so sweet and we really just want to help these kids. We don't want to hurt them. We want to, you know, we know they're coming from a broken family, and, you know, they'll just really act it out. And sadly, it led to every single individual of these individuals that you see in that photo dead in the river. So it's sad. You know, like I said, I will never be able to trust white people. That's just my calling. You know, some people may say, oh, you know, they're the sweetest people. And true, I have witnessed some very, very sweet white people. But it never lasts that long. It probably lasts for 20 minutes or 30 minutes max. You're not going to see the real, true colors of white people, because they're not going to show you that unless you come behind closed doors and then you start listening to all these documentaries, seeing investigations. That's when you'll really know exactly who you're dealing with. So this is why I do minimal interactions with them. But yeah, it's very, very sad. You know, just women in general. You know, I think Jen made a claim that, oh my God, anytime the kids will eat my food, you know, she would beat them. Or one of the children said that, you know, anytime they would go in the fridge and eat, you know, and she would starve them like they're dogs, you know, like they're not human beings that have to eat food and consume food to live. So clearly and obviously she had to know that prior to adopting these Black children, that these Black children are going to have to be eating food, you know, just like a white child would, or just like how she would wake up one morning and be hungry and want to cook breakfast and eat food. So every time they would call CPS, it was on the basis of there's just no food, we're being starved. And, you know, also the neighbors had their own account of how the children will go to their homes, ask for peanut butter, bread, you know, large amounts of this because the fridge was off limits. No children was supposed to go there to get food. So it's concerning. It's terrible that, you know, I'm a woman. I know I love food. I love my chips. I love my popcorn. But we have to admit this. This is the second time I'm saying this on a video with the second separate whole situation. I said it first with the Turpin 13 about the lady hogging the food and wanting no one to go to the fridge. This is the second time I'm repeating it. Ladies, we know food is part of our hormones. When our hormones and our estrogen goes up there, we want ice cream. We want something sweet. We want something that's going to satisfy that hormone and make us feel okay. But we also have to be cognizant of individuals around us, you know, like our children we bring into the world. You know, with the Turpin 13, she literally just starved them till they had muscle atony and were skinny, you know. And in this situation with Jen and Sara, it's like these children didn't look malnourished to me, you know, I'm not gonna lie, but it was getting there. You know, if they just didn't have any neighbors, most likely would have gotten there. So it's sad, you know. And just let me finish what I was trying to say. With women, we have to be able to let people eat our food. It's not a big deal. I've seen women that are so quick to grab a shrimp or grab a steak from a friend's plate or a spouse's plate and eat their spouse's food. But I guarantee you, the moment you try to go and hop on her plate, it's a big deal. Woman and food, I don't know why it goes hand in hand, but I think it's just because history has it, you know, women used to just stay at home and cook, and, you know, they had their own gender norms they had to do, of course, you know, in the 40s and early 1900s. But, you know, I've even witnessed that as well with my sister and, you know, hogging food. Food is good, but when you have other mouths to feed, you have to be able to allow those mouths to feed. Women are somehow always in charge of food. You know, for instance, you know, and the sad part about it is that this is children. You signed up for this. You said you were going to be responsible for their feeding and everything, you know. So why is it a big deal to starve these children that just want to have a meal, you know? So it's very evil, you know. Thankfully they didn't die of malnourishment, but the way that she took them out and, you know, committed suicide and drove them off a cliff, that was a big extreme deal. That shows like this woman was dealing with a big mental psychosis. For you to drive off a cliff like that, like it's just hip hop hooray, you know, like come on, you know? So for me, it was just, I don't even know what to say about it, you know, but you really just have to read between the lines, you know, when it comes to white people. And just, if you're a racist, why do you need a punching bag, you know? Why choose the black people to go and do the punching bag to? So I'm sorry, you know, I'm in my 20s now. I don't think later on down the line I will ever just change my perspective or my overview on white people. They're so manipulating and cunning. It's like in their genes and their DNA to be this way. So I don't know, it's sad that those 6 children had to just pass away like that, you know. And she would always tell the one boy to smile, say cheese, do this, do that. And it's like he's a robot, you know, like, do what Jen says. And even her wife, Sara, said that, you know, when Jen called her to work her job and was asking her about this and that. It's like military, like, you have to be right. And white people technically always want to be right. You know, if they never want to be wrong, they want to be right. If you really notice with your interactions with white people, let me know, but they really, really do that. You know, they want to be right all the time. And somebody like that is just someone you don't want to be around, you know. But literally, may their soul rest in peace. They passed away in the year of 2018, tragically. And, you know, just, they're never to be seen again. So this is just a case of white supremacy on blacks. She could have got any foster child. They didn't have to be black, you know, and that was a choice from Jen. So I get scared of white people. Literally, they freak me out. I don't think I can even stay 24 hours with, you know, those kind of people, because it just, you never, like, they're master manipulated. They can lie. They can say you did this. They can say you stole this. You were looking at me wrong. This is that. Who the hell has time to deal with that emotional weight, you know, of another individual that's unstable? Another fun fact, a lot of white people tend to commit suicide. You know, that's the reality. They tend to commit suicide because they cannot handle what is going on in their brain. A lot of times their reality and the reality that's going on is 2 separate things. And once they realize that, their brain neurons just can't handle it, and they have to go ahead and just end it. You know, there was a recent actor, I think Jason, that passed away, you know, due to suicide. You know, not trying to speak on him, but it's just example of how white people just can dish it but can't take it. You know, she was a coward. You know, Jen and Sara was a coward, because you beat the hell out of your children. You can't even FaceTime in jail for it. You don't want to go to jail. You want to die. It's a coward move. So it's terrible, you know, that you have people like that. But it's even more terrible when you see that being inflicted on innocent souls. Like, these are innocent children that could have remained in foster care and wait for a better foster parent to come along. You know, it didn't have to be this 2 gay couple marriage coming along here, you know, so, and ruining children's life. So women really just have to get it together. You know, a lot of times it's just, they make us look bad. There's certain women that just make women look bad in society. And society's going to go with whatever they see. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're not going to turn the blind eye. Society has it based on what women do, and also based on the Bible. You know, we already got it so down bad because of what Eve did in the Bible by accepting apple from the snake. So now we're still trying to prove ourselves all these centuries and decades, trying to prove ourselves to society, but we keep bringing ourselves down by this stupid crap. It's embarrassing. Like, let your children eat food from the fridge. It's not a big deal, you know? You have a job. You can replace it. You know, Sara had a job working at a retailer. So food shouldn't be of such a hard thing to where you want to say, damn, I'm going to go ahead and drive off a cliff with these children because they're going to eat my food. It's very, very minimal, and it's very, very silly, you know? So same thing with the Turpin 13. buy more food. If you decide to, everyone has a choice in life. If you decide to lay in bed and have 13 children, you need to be able to take care of that, at the end. Same for Sara and Jen. You guys signed off the paperwork saying you're going to adopt these 4 to 6 children. Do your job, do your responsibility. Why is the cops coming to your location? And even if you find that there's something wrong, or, hey, we just can't deal with these children, give them back to the government or to the community or something like that, Don't make it misery and just murder them like they were nothing to begin with. So I want to say this was definitely driven by a racist attack, but then again, comparing the Broken 13 and seeing how they treated their children, beating them, throwing them across the room, it's quite similar. It's just, Jen and Sara were just really, really egomaniacs and had to get their way. So versus dealing with the law and admitting to what they did, they chose to commit suicide, which is a coward move. But, this is just a wake-up call to anyone thinking white people are so amazing and great. You have to really look at the underlying fact with them. They're really good actors and actresses. The neighbor said it as well. Like, she sold it to me good. I was getting ready to call the cops. Like, think of how she would have worded everything. Think of how she created that speech to kind of convince and persuade the neighbor, no, these are just Black weirdos, don't call the cops, So literally, you have to be careful of that. Like, it's really scaring me, but you have to be careful of that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.